So I've been having a conversation with Grok3. I have a subscription to Grok3. I have a subscription to Gemini Pro as well. But I've been I seem to get better info from Grok3. I've been using the deep search and the deeper search in order to, I've been giving it my questions that I've been having about the market. I have a perspective on the market that utilizes a lot of different indicators and setups. One of the most important ones that I admittedly don't use enough is the Elliot Wave theory. Go ahead and watch a video on that, on how that works. Go ahead and research that. That is one of the theories that will help you understand how macro movements happen in any solid asset like Bitcoin or say Amazon or such. It'll help you give you a good idea of where macro bottoms and tops are. And then you can also use it for micro movements as well. But if you want to just say buy in at the bottom of Bitcoin and sell at the top of Bitcoin, this will help you figure it out. So with that said, we're going to go through some info that I've been given to Grok3. So having a very long conversation with Grok3 over the past few days. I've been using the voice feature on Grok3 while I've been driving. Just any thoughts that come to my head about any particular movement on any coin. But I've been talking to Grok about Bitcoin recently. And for the question you see here is show me the info you created about Bitcoin going to 160K. So we got to the conclusion that Bitcoin can go to 160K, and we are basing this off of a strong, I won't say very strong, a strong assumption that 100,300 was the wave 4 bottom. So you're gonna need to research wave theory, figure out, and maybe I'll even I'll make a video on where we're at in the Elliot Wave theory now. Currently, it seems that we just finished a smaller wave 5 drop from 112K to 100,300K. So we just finished that. We just finished that 5 wave down drop, and now we're going into an ABC correction up. So now it's it gives you a pretty good idea of where we're going to go. And then again, you can use the indicators that I use. I use indicators you like to use to figure out exactly where we can go from 100,300 on up. So now the assumption is if we continue up in the market from this ABC correction, then we could possibly start or continue the bull run. And that does work with my theory that we are repeating the January 2021 fractal that ended in May, about a 5-month span. And 5 months from now would lead us into October, which is July, August, September, October, November, which is exactly where a lot of us anticipate that the market is going to top out at least for Bitcoin. Altcoins could go another month, but in this case, we're talking about Bitcoin. So with all that said, we're going to go through this information here, very important information to figure out how we know. Give me one second. Figure out how we know Bitcoin will get, and right now we're talking about 160K. Without going through the first paragraph, we're using Elliot Wave theory and looking at how we get to 160K by late 2025, early 2026. We're assuming late 2025. Bitcoin's path to 160,000 Elliot Wave analysis. The macro Elliot Wave structure will skip down. Bitcoin's long-term price trend is analyzed within a super cycle. So we're basically the entire structure of Bitcoin. This is also important as well. We have queried Grok3 about. I was about to start to query Grok3 about where we're going to go once we top out in this market. But we're just going to start from wave 1, basically starting from the first day of Bitcoin into now. So super cycle wave 1, 2010 to 2013, peaked basically from 10 cents to $1,000. Then we went down from 1,000 down to 200 in 2015. Then 2015 started wave 3, $200 to $20,000, which is, what is that? 100x. Right. And then wave 3 is always the biggest wave. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're thinking about wave theory. Wave 4 is a correction in a bull market, and Bitcoin has been in a bull market for the past 15 years. So wave 4 is a correction, aka bear market. We went from 20K to 3K. These are all rounded up or rounded down assumptions on these prices. Just keep it simple. And then the start of wave 5, super cycle wave 5. Took us from 2018 at $3,000 into now, and of course you have smaller waves up and down in between them, but we're just looking at the overall price movement. Excuse me, between the start up until now over the course of the last 15 years. And these cycles usually last 16 years. And we'll get to that later in another video as to why the 16-year cycle is important, and why the big trillion-dollar institutions are jumping in now. But anyways, so we're trying to figure out how do we get to 160K within super cycle wave 5. Bitcoin's price action is divided into 5 subwaves. Wave 1 of 5, price range 3K, and you can see the info there. You can pause it if you want to. 3K to 69K, initial rally driven by early institutional adoption and a 2020 halving. Okay, so these are the subwaves of the current wave we're in, starting from $3,000. Wave 2 correction from 69K to 15K, right? And this is part of the reason why I knew $15,000 or 15,500, 15,600 was going to be the bottom. I called it in one of my videos. And now wave 2 ends at the correction ended at 15K, right? So now we're going into again, remember, wave 3 is always the longest wave. Wave 3 ended up being a $97,000 wave from $15,000 to $112,000 peak. Okay, so now we're assuming 112K down to 100,300 is the correction. This is assuming 100,300 is the correction. Now this could all change if and keep this in mind, if 107,350 fails, if we fail to get up there between now, we're in an ABC upward correction that could end at 107,350. If we see a big breakdown from there, say to 102,000, then we could come all the way back to 91K, and then that would be the start, or that would be the end of the wave 3 of 5 of V, wave 3 of V, wave 3 of 5, right? So then this information will change, but we're assuming that 100,300. Sorry, I meant to say the end of wave 4, the downward correction. The downward correction can change from 100,300 all the way down to it can change to 91K. But right now we're just assuming we are going to continue up from here, which I believe from my past research and my past put it in the videos that we are going to continue up. So we're assuming our bottom is at 100,300, and then from there, wave 5 of 5, and this is important to remember as well. This is when all the altcoins that haven't been moving for the past 3.5, 4 years. This is when they start. Moving, and that's why I have piled into so many altcoins that have the potential to move up, and that will move up very violently over the course of this wave 5 of 5, basically the last wave. And this is the last wave of the super cycle, which is a 16-year cycle. So very important to remember when. I'll say this now to try to remember for the end of this video, when we get to the top of wave 5 of 5, which we will be monitoring very closely around $160,000, then we will be looking to short. But this could be that we could see a 78% drop of the entire structure of Bitcoin. I'm talking about from 10 cents, between 10 cents all the way up to 160K. Let's assume we hit 160K. That's why we're looking at this video. I always do that. I meant to do calculator. Basically 160,000 times 0.786, right? And then we subtract that, right? 160,000. We could go all the way back to 34K. Okay, that is a very viable target. We have talked about that in the past. I believe that is a level of interest, right? So Bitcoin could start over we could start the entire structure all over again and have to start from there. Okay, so that's assuming we hit 160K. We're going to just keep it as simple as that. So now we have that set in place. We're not going to go to that. Let's go back up here. So now we're saying 160K would be the top. That is if we match the subwave of subwave 1, wave 1 of 5. As you can see here, wave 1 of 5 was a $66,000 move. Wave 5 is usually the same length or larger than wave 1. Okay, so that'd be 66,000 on top of. Now we're getting into why it could be slightly above 160,000. So if we're assuming the bottom of wave 5 of 5 is 100,300, right? 100,300, and then wave 1 length from 3,000 to 69,000, right, is 66K, and we add 66,000, and we would end up getting 166,300 as a very strong top, because wave 1 is written in stone. We can't change that, and wave 5 cannot be less than wave 1. It will be equal or more than. Now, that is the first top that we can assume. Now, the second top we can assume, so keep 166,000 in mind. Now, wave 5 can also be no larger than wave 3, but it can be equal to wave 3. How big is wave 3? Let's go back to here. We can go down to projection 160 target for wave 5 of 5 is calculated using Elliot Wave principle. So what we're going to take out of that is the wave 3 gain. Don't worry about anything else right now. The wave 3 gain is 97,000. Wave 4 low is 100,300. So what did we say? Or wave 4 low, the start of wave 5 is also 100,300. So what's the assumption? We assume that the theory that we're assuming is that wave 5 can also be the same length as wave 3. Wave 3 is what? Wave 3 gain, 112,000 minus 15,000 being the start of wave 3, $97,000 difference. We take 100,300 and we add 97,000. Now that's how we get an ultimate macro top on Bitcoin to $197,000. So now in my mind, we're looking at the top for Bitcoin being somewhere between 166,000 and $197,000 sometime by the end of 2025. So now the next question was, my next question was, so according to wave theory, the price can go to 197,300. Yes, according to Elliot Wave theory, Bitcoin's price could indeed reach 197,300. This projection is based on principles of wave theory, particularly within the context of the ongoing super cycle wave 5, a major bullish cycle that is expected to drive Bitcoin to new all-time highs. And below, it's explained how it's derived and why it's plausible, explains what the Elliot Wave theory is. Again, watch the videos. The current wave structure, here's how the Bitcoin price is unfolding in wave 5 so far. We're going back over that. And then ultimately we get to the point where start of wave 5 of 5, the most important wave, the final upward movement, starting from 100,300 with a potential high of $197,000. Again, that's 100,300 plus the full length of wave 3, $97,000. Right? How is it calculated? And it goes through it here as well. Length of wave 1, 66,000, basically. Target for wave 5. Forget what it's saying there. I don't think it understands what it's saying. Anyway, so that's how I figure we're going to go somewhere between 160,000 and $197,000. We're going to continue to watch this over the course of time, and as I continue to query Grok of the information it already has, we'll figure out exactly how it's going to get there, what the top is going to look like, and then we will be attempting to short the top as well. We will be attempting to create financial stability for ourselves through trading as we are shorting. This is what we do as traders. We don't just long the markets. We short the markets as well. Whatever the market gives us, we take money from it, because there are going to be plenty of people at the top of the market that don't know what they're doing. They're going to come in the last 1 month of the market. They're going to give up all their savings. They're going to mortgage their house. They're going to get rid of their car, sell their car. They're going to get in on the top, and they're going to really believe that we're going to go to $500,000 this time, and they're going to hold from somewhere between 166,000 and 197,000, and they're going to hold it all the way down, possibly to 100,000 before they sell at a loss. That's how the market works. That's how 95% of retail, everyday trader Joes invest. They invest at the top. They hold until they're at a severe loss, at least a 50% loss before they sell. So we're going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching. If there's anything I forgot, we'll talk about it in a later video. Thanks.